Hey y'all, so I have been getting a lot of questions over the past few days about brushes. So I decided to hop on and do a quick video talking about the types of brushes that you would need for Savvy Minerals. So if that's interesting to you, then keep on watching. So basically I'll just say I didn't buy any new brushes really. Well, except for today, but I'll explain that in a second. I've been using my existing collection of brushes with the Savvy Minerals with no issues. So I don't really think that you need a particular type of brush necessarily to work with any of these products. The only thing that I would say is that, let me just grab one of these here, is that like a traditional type of foundation brush like this, like a flat top kabuki, is not going to work. And I don't think that even like a round top kabuki would work either. It's a little too dense. You need a little bit more give in the brush to work with the minerals and get the coverage that you want. So contrary wise, a brush like this would not work well with the foundation either because it's got too much give. This is more suited to like a finishing powder or blush, something that you just want a light dusting of. Whereas with the foundation, you want coverage, so you want more of a concentrated application. What I've been using is kind of a combination of these. It's got the round top, like the round top kabuki, but it has a little bit more give to it, but less than this one does. So, and it's just been the perfect size for me. It's got just enough give. It's nice and soft. It's a decent size to cover, a generous area of my face, and it's been working really, really well for me. So this is the Real Techniques buffing brush. Unfortunately, they don't sell these separately. You have to get them in sets, but you can get a set anywhere from like $14 to $20, depending on the set that you get with this brush in it. And I have yet to find a brush of theirs that I don't like. So you would definitely be able to make use of the other brushes in the set. So that's my brush of choice, is the Real Techniques buffing brush. However, I got a text from a dear friend today who told me about this e.l.f. brush. And it looks very similar. If you notice, it looks very similar to the Real Techniques buffing brush. It's a little more rounded, doesn't flare out like and makes that little corner as much, but it feels very similar. It's maybe slightly more dense, but then also I've had this brush for a while. It's been washed several times. This is a brand new brush. But I tested it. I touched up my chin because I had a salad dressing mishap today during lunch, and so I used it to touch up my chin, and I think it did a really good job. So these are sold separately. You can get them. I got mine at CVS, and it was $8. So that's a really good price. And e.l.f.'s brushes, they do make some of their brushes are garbage. The white handled brushes, don't even waste your time. But the black handled brushes, they have some really nice ones in that collection. So this would be a good alternative for foundation. Moving on to other face products, for blush, I've been using either one of these brushes. I have a lot of Real Techniques brushes, y'all. So this is the multitask brush. This one is sold individually, and then this is the blush brush, and it is also sold individually. I use them interchangeably. I don't like one better than the other. I'm like I said, I go back and forth between them. So I have these. However, e.l.f. also has a brush that would be good for blush. I just kind of touched up my blush, not that I needed it, but just to see how it would apply. And I really liked it. And this is the e.l.f. complexion brush, and it is $5, and it's nice and soft. It's the same one that I showed you comparing the foundation brushes. It's nice and soft. It has a lot of give, so you're going to get a nice light application, which is what you want from blush, unless you're going for the Bozo the Clown look, and in which case choose this one. So, so that's blush. Moving on to bronzer, I've been using both of these. I think they do an equally good job, although this one I feel like perhaps just applies it a little more lightly, a little more subtly because of the wispy brushes, the bristles up here on the top. You get a lighter application that way. But this one is really nice too. It gets right in there in that hairline and right in that contour area. So if you were using your bronzer as a contour, but also as a bronzer, this would be a good one because you could be very directional and precise right here, and then kind of tilt it on its side. Like be very directional and precise like this, and then tilt it on its side and diffuse it out, and you know, kind of get that more blended look as you move up into the hairline. So those are both very good. This one is a Real Techniques. It's called a stippling brush. This one you're not going to be able to get easily. It is a German brand, and you have to order them, and it takes forever to ship and all those things. I got a whole set. I treated myself a few years ago. So, but something, if you could find something similar, actually, the blush brush for Real Techniques is shaped pretty similarly, so you could use that one instead as an alternative. Contour. If you're doing specific contour, whether it's with the bronzer or you mix like the previous video that I posted where I made my own contour powder, a brush like this is really, really nice. It helps you to get right in there, right under that cheekbone, and then you can easily diffuse it out, and you can also go along the sides of your nose, only if you're doing the contour powder color, not the bronzer. But Real Techniques makes a brush like this. It is called the foundation brush, but it's similar. The only difference is that one is angled and one is not. But it does a similar job as contour, and you could easily go along the side of your nose too. In fact, I think this might do a better job along the side of your nose. So those are for contour. And then highlight, I've been using these two. Now you could also use this brush. This is the setting brush from Real Techniques. You could use this for contour, especially if you have very small features. And it comes to a point, so you could even do along the side of your nose like that. So this would also work as a contour, but then you could easily just go right, you see where the light's hitting right there? Right there. And apply that highlighter. Wanderlust is a wonderful highlighter. Or if you want to be super fancy, you can use a fan brush and highlight that cheekbone, highlight that nose. You could even use it for contour in a pinch, but I don't. But you could. So, okay, so that's all the face brushes. Now, eye brushes. Again, I have not found, excuse me, I have a hair. Goodness, it's really annoying. It's like right in my eyeball. I have not found that I've had to use any special type of brushes for the eyeshadows to apply and blend out nicely, and I haven't, as long as I tap off my brush before I go in and apply, I haven't had a whole lot of fallout either. So so that's worked. Just some ideas for different types of brushes. Something like this would be a nice kind of all over for Best Kept Secret, or if you're just doing a wash of, you know, Spoiled or Crushing or something over your lid, this would be a really nice style of brush for that. If you were doing a defined crease, one like this that kind of comes to a point would be really nice to really get in that socket. Or you could use something like this. This is the MAC 217. It's a very popular brush. It also kind of tapers to the top. It's just a little, it's not as long, not as fluffy, but you can do the same job. I also use this to add a little depth to the corners, and you could even get under that lash line if you wanted to. It's a good all-around eye brush. Another good all-around eye brush is this Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush. It's similar in shape to the 217. It tapers just a tiny bit more, I think. On the top, you see how it gets that little chisel there. And again, you can use it for everything. You can put lid color down. You could do the crease. You could deepen out the outer corner. You could get under the lower lash line like that. It just does it all. So that's a really good one. e.l.f. makes a nice brush. It's called the C eyeshadow brush, the eyeshadow C brush, and it's a good all over sweep of color, base color brush, and those are like $2 or $3. Something big and fluffy like this to kind of blend out so that you don't, if you go a little overboard or you just want to have a nice diffused edge to your shadow, you can blend it out with that. That's a really good brush to have. Laying down color just kind of on your lid like that, a small flat brush like this would work. Or if you want to do the foil technique where you wet your brush and get more of a metallic sheen, something like this where it's just synthetic and it's really, really thin and dense. That would be a good brush for that purpose. Doing a little bit of extra deepening and definition in that very outer corner there, a tiny, very precision brush like this. You could also use it under the lash line there. Pencil brush for inner corner highlight or spot concealing. That's really nice. And then an angled brush like this if you're going to use the eyeliner wet or dry to get that nice definition on the lash line. Last ones, concealer brushes. This is a Real Techniques. I believe it is called a concealer brush. No, it's called a deluxe crease brush, which is a stupid name for this because nobody's crease is that big. Seriously, it's very, very dense. I use it for concealer. And or a brush like this, which is very similar to the 217, very similar to the base shadow brush. Any style like this or this would be good for concealer as well. So those are my thoughts on brushes. I think, if you already have your existing brushes and you have something that's even close to any of these shapes and density levels as the brushes that I showed would work fine. You don't need to go out and buy all kinds of special brushes. The only one possibly that people might have to go get is a different foundation brush for the foundation, because traditional foundation brushes, I can't even talk, traditional foundation brushes won't work as well with the mineral foundation. You want something that's a little rounded on the top, medium density, to give you the coverage and application that you want. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions about brushes or need me to clarify anything, please pop those comments down there and I will get back to you. If this was helpful, give it a thumbs up. That would make me really happy. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.